recording is in progress. What? Cash flow. Wow.
Anyway, that's me back in the day when they had me, Prince was hot, Morris Day was hot. And I think Michael Franklin did my hair, who used to do all the hair and makeup for the Cosby Show, and they, that's me right there,
Which one? Which one?
right here on the end, the light skinned guy.
Oh, they all light skinned to me. Oh, okay, there you go. Look at you. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you got your hair all spiked.
Yeah, with the spiked hair and the rock look.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
oh my goodness.
So that was many moons ago, but people tell me, I guess they say I still look pretty good, I try to take good care of myself.
I hear you. I hear you. I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? It is a great day, and I have the musician that I was supposed to have today. Okay, so look, you got to pronounce. Okay, it's Simeo, right?
Well, the stage name is Simeo.
Simeo, yeah.
And the writer legal name is Samuel.
Samuel. Yeah. And that's what I thought. I mean, it's like I said before, it was spelled a little bit different, but this is the second time I've had you on, but by yourself this time.
Absolutely. And I'm thankful to be on with you today and excited about talking with you and looking forward to future things. Maybe we'll end up writing a song together or working on something. Hey.
Look, don't tease me like that.
Don't tease you like that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Because, so many people tell me, oh, yeah, we gonna work with you. And then it's like crickets.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, no, I take that to heart.
Okay.
I love music. That's like before this, there was music.
Right. Okay.
There was music. Yeah. So I would love to. It would be an honor. It would be a pleasure.
Yeah, because you like I was saying, you surprised me during that Rhonda Clark interview, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, Yaya is the truth. And for your listeners out there, don't let her fool you. This lady is a great singer, entertainer, just magnificent.
Oh, thank you. I can't keep it under wraps because, this is not about me. It's about my guests. And I am truly, I think that, in the music industry, depression can come so fast because you're almost always by yourself. You're writing by yourself, or you might be with your producer, but then you're in the hotel room by yourself. You're traveling, and it's like you don't have that camaraderie. You don't have that best friend to hang out with tonight. Where are you going? I'm going to hang out with my best friend. You don't really have a lot of best friends. And if you do, it's like, yo, I'm going to be gone for like 3 months, but when we come back, I'm going to see you. But yeah, they just had a baby. They just got married. I mean, life goes on for them. But what about musicians? We're a different breed altogether. And I think that, without this show, I wouldn't have that camaraderie. I wouldn't have that relationship with other people that everyone so desperately needs. What have you done to make that happen for you?
Well, I was blessed enough that I started traveling at an early enough age. Actually, I think my first travel gig as a drummer, I probably was around 12 or 13 years old, something like that. I was one of these, well, we see a lot of kids nowadays. You see kids that are 4 and 5 and 6 that are actually great musicians, but back then in the 60s when I was growing up, that wasn't, it was rare. I just put it like that. So by the time I was 10, 11, 12, they were, people started noticing, said, who is this kid that can play like that? And anyway, I kind of did my travel thing and got that out the way. Now I've been blessed to, be a producer of several artists and a writer. and I'm a sound engineer as well. So a lot of times I'm in the studio, which well, I take that back. I'm going to be traveling soon, probably this year, because a good friend of mine, LJ Reynolds of the Dramatics, he wants me to do some fill-in dates for him because his drummer, I guess, is nervous about cruises or hadn't had his COVID shots and stuff. So LJ called me, which I was the Dramatic and LJ Reynolds drummer for a number of years, and he called me recently and said, "Hey, I need you to do these shows with me." So I told him, sure, I'd love to do it.
Awesome, awesome. So when is this?
Well, he wants me to do the Soul Train cruise with him next year. And then there's various dates. I don't have the itinerary in front of me,
Right.
but
Mhm.
there's various dates later this year that I'll go out and fill in for his current drummer. Yeah.
That is really cool. So whenever someone's out to go see the Dramatics and you go, just go shout out to Samuel on the drums,
Right, right.
give the drummer some.
Yep, absolutely. So
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So how did your career begin? I know that we were talking about your first group and everything and what you but you have done so much. Tell us
Well,
about your
well,
life.
it started all with the drums. I guess around 13, 14 years old, I had the opportunity to play before Billy Henderson and Purvis Jackson of the Spinners. And actually, I was with a group, a singing group at the time, and I was playing behind them as a young kid. And they were so impressed that Billy actually got me the gig for a short time with the Spinners as their drummer. And that was back in the Felipe days. So anyway, it kind of started from there. And then I ended up working with producer Michael Powell and Michael Henderson,
Mm.
a magnificent singer, musician. Michael saw me, and Michael learned I could sing, and he's like, "Man, get off them drums. You're a good singer." So I ended up in the studio, and I think I wrote to you about it. I was actually Crystal Rose Records, the big label with Donald Lawrence and the Clark sisters, and Nita Baker started there, and so many, which they've got multi-platinum albums and all kind of music awards now. I actually was their first recording artist. I had a record called Video VJ that was my first big record, and it was actually produced by, Anita Baker's producer, Michael
Mm.
Powell, and all the guys from Chapter 8. Vernon Fales, great pianist, and all those folks played on my record. And that's kind of like where it started.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And now let's go ahead and jump to now because the music industry has changed so much. It has changed so much. It used to be that record labels were the dominant force. You needed to be signed by a record label in order to get your music out. Now it's you. You
That's
go ahead
correct.
and do it for yourself. How is that working for you?
Well, with me, I my thing nowadays is working with younger artists and kind of teaching them the business.
Mm,
Okay, as far as what I do, I'm a songwriter, beat maker, engineer. So my target with me is more of placing songs with various artists.
mhm.
And I've been waiting about a year now to get Anita Baker to finish her lyrics on a song of mine she really likes. And so many young artists today don't understand the music business, and they don't understand publishing or copyrights and just the basics of taking care of the things behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So new artists that I work with, Lyric the Queen, who's a awesome rapper. Lyric was a runner up on America's Got Talent one year. And whenever Clarissa Shields, the greatest woman fighter of all times, whenever Clarissa fights, that's Lyric the rapper that brings her out
I
to her
know.
boxing matches. So
Mhm.
I finished a song called God is Greater Than Me, and it's actually, I did the music track, I engineered the recording. Lyric is a guest on there, and it's Bo Watson of Midnight Star and his sister June, who actually wrote the Midas Touch. They had that big hit record back
Oh.
in the day,
Oh, yeah, I remember
and,
that.
and they always wanted to do a project together. So it's called the Watson Family Choir, and Lyric is on God is Bigger Than Me. And that's
That's
something
so
I
cool.
wrote and produced.
That is so cool. That is
Yeah.
so, so cool. Wow.
But back to your question though,
Mhm.
I don't think the music, I don't think the major labels actually can do what they used to. To me, it's really clicky right now, and a lot of times the artist has done the work, and then the label will say, "Hey, I'd like to partner with you and do a
Yeah.
joint venture," and that's a good thing too, you know. But artists themselves nowadays, if you know the guys that are working radio, and if you got a good team behind you to work social media and a good publicist, which is not that expensive, you can really make a uh big bang on the industry yourself nowadays.
Yes, you can. You know what the hardest part is though? Being a vocalist, not being able to really, I mean, you can hear what you want in your head and how it goes, but finding the producer, or finding a company that's not leasing their track,
Right,
this is your track. I
right.
think that it's difficult because you might find something kind of close to what you want, but not there. And then, I've hired so many different people, and I've only had like maybe a couple of them come close to what I really wanted. So working with a producer, working with a musician, working with someone is the hardest part to me, at least, to find that person that understands what you're trying to say musically and to click with that person. To me, that's the hardest part right now.
Well, one thing that I've experienced is sometimes vocalists are being produced by rappers. So a rapper that doesn't sing, he's trying to tell you how to sing, or vice versa. A vocalist that doesn't rap and he's trying to tell somebody how to rap.
Yeah.
So for me, I've had a great experience of working with vocalists and rappers because I can sing and rap. So for example, if I'm working with an artist in the studio and I hear them do a certain phrase or whatever, I can also give them a different direction if they ask me, say, hey, what can I do with this vocally? And I can sing something back to them, and then we just kind of feed off of each other. Because
Mhm.
it's a nightmare working with, as a vocalist, working with someone that doesn't sing, that's trying to produce you.
Tell me about it.
So you've got this producer, he's telling you, well, this is what I want you to do, and we're at this section, that section, and that section, but he can't sing nothing back to you to tell you, or he can't do harmonies. Maybe he's a lead vocalist that does. I run into that. I work with lead vocalists, and I say, well, do this harmony note on top of yourself. They can't do harmonies. They're like tone deaf to harmonies. And I'm
Oh,
like, whoa, what is this about? So
yeah.
that happened.
Well, they've never had to. They've never had to. They've never
Right.
had to. Back in the day, you needed to. Like most of my vocals, if you go online, all of those are me. Even the low is me.
Abs- hey,
You got
I
to do it yourself.
right, when I do a record, and the last few records I put out on myself, and people ask me, well, who played keys, who sang background, who did the track, who played guitar? That's me. And uh, well, growing up, a lot of people, they were in awe of a Prince, which Prince was amazing. But there were guys like me that played every instrument, sang all the parts, wrote the parts, and when I'd be in LA, people would say, "Oh, you're like a prince." And I'm like, "Well, kind of, sort of." It
Is
isn't.
it like, I mean, who's older here?
Right, right. And I'd be like, "Well, this nothing new to me to play all the parts because I didn't have the luxury of having all the musicians there. So I had to
Exactly.
learn how to do those things myself, you know?"
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, to tell you the truth, it's like, okay, some of us can do that, like you can do that, and some of us can't. But to find that camaraderie, that person that you click with, that's to me the hardest. Everything else can be figured out. I think that is the hardest part because once you find that person, it's,
Right,
like Rhonda said, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, and all that. She really wanted to work with them, right? That was the last interview, and I remember that. And she
right.
found her click, and then she found you, and
Yep.
you guys click. I guarantee you, you're not the first person that she's tried to work with that,
Oh, I'm
before she
sure.
found you.
Right. One of the things, that I wish established artists wouldn't do is when they find new entertainers or new artists that they're serious about signing, don't try to rip these people off, man. Just sign them,
Yeah,
help them out, get them to where they need to be, but don't let them eat too. That's the
I
big
hear that.
thing.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
do that a lot.
I have clients that come in my studio and they're doing production for some major artists, and they'll say, "Simeo, I'm getting paid peanuts." And I'm looking at, I've had a couple artists come in my studio that were doing tracks for major rap artists. And the artist may have released the single and it really did well, and it actually may have sold a couple million units. Well, uh, the person who did the track, they can't even buy a new car. I'm like, what is up with
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
So
I know.
that's one thing I wish, some of the established artists wouldn't do to some of the younger artists. I mean, do you really need all the person's publishing? I mean, come on,
Yeah,
man. They
I
created
hear you.
they created the vibe. They created the whole thing that made you put your voice on it and make it a hit. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. There's those what is it called where you sign off? It's like you just get paid to do it and that's it. You don't get no more money. That's what you're talking about, right?
Well, I've heard of which I've never done it, these 360 deals or
Oh
whatever
yeah.
people are talking about, where you just take money up front and I
Yeah,
mean,
and then they get a piece of everything.
yeah, I mean, they control your likeness, they control your future products. If you're doing uh anything, if you're appearing in a play on Broadway, if
They
you're
get a piece of that.
doing a commercial, if you're
Yep.
if you're in a film, they're all
If you
they're all
open a
locked into.
business, if you open a business, they're your business partner.
They're
Literally,
your
you're in
business
it.
partner, right? And many times, uh, the artists or the labels, either a lot of these folks have been in the business for years and years. They got money. They're paid. If they never worked another day, they're okay.
Yeah.
Pass it on.
Yep.
That's my thing.
I agree with you. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
And
Wow.
that's where I am right now. It's like, I get offers from different people, and if it doesn't feel right to me, and they like people say, "Well, you turned that down. You were crazy." It's like, well, I make over six figures a year myself. I don't have to just do all of that, but I've been blessed to land on my feet like that because running my studio and the people I work with, I'm in here grinding every day to
Yeah.
make that happen for my family.
Yeah, you have to. You have
Yeah.
to. And that's wonderful. So what are you working on now?
Well, right now, of course, Rhonda Clark, getting her established out there again. Like I said, I'm waiting on a couple nice projects. I've got a new single I'm producing on LJ Reynolds and the Dramatics. And that should be a nice dance song. LJ and the Dramatics haven't been in the limelight for a while. I finished Love Never Changes for the Spinners. I did that. They got that out right now. Some of the younger artists that are out there are that I'm working with. They're not household names, but you'll hear from them pretty soon. And then I've got a song called "Driving Around" that the Weekends people really like, and I'm hoping he'll record that later this year.
That would be nice, and I
Yeah.
hope that, Anita Baker get those lyrics back in so that he can get his song,
Yeah,
'cause I wanna hear it.
we were talking, and
I
Anita,
wanna hear it.
she sent me this great email. She said, "Hey, I've got your track on repeat. I love this track." I said, "Well, go on and write to it, you know." And I said, "Do you remember me from back in the day?" She was like, "Simeo, come on. We were in the studio all the time back in the day. This is before Angel and all of that stuff." So,
Uh-huh.
but she decided to do her her Las Vegas thing, and then
Residency?
yeah, and then she said, "Well, I think I'm going to go on tour." So I'm waiting through all of this for her to just slow down long enough to where she can write. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well,
So
I hope to hear it. I
and
love
it's
Anita
worth the
Baker.
wait, and it's worth the wait.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
love Anita Baker. I mean,
yeah.
her first songs were like the pivot. It was like, when I heard that they told her she couldn't sing, but then she came out and she was a hit, I was like, that's it right there.
Uh,
Get you.
right.
Yes.
When I first, I had the luxury of hearing Angel before the world heard it. And I was at attorney Ben Whitfield's office with Michael Powell, and Beverly Glenn had that record, and it was on vinyl. And they played Angel, and when I heard it, my jaw was on the floor. I'm saying, man,
That
that is
woman can
smoking hot.
sing. Okay. I'm
Right,
sorry. And I
right.
know that the people that turned her down, that did what they said.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. That's how I feel
exactly.
about them right now. Cause they missed out.
Right.
They missed
But
out.
over the years I've been really blessed to work with some amazing people, like I said, Michael Henderson, Larry
Right.
Blackman, oh boy, gospel singers like Bo Williams, Carlton Pearson, and back to my drumming days, I played drums for a short time with Paul Anka, and just some amazing people over the years.
That's amazing. I love it. And I love the fact that, you are, how would I say this? It's like, okay, so that friend that you have that you call, even though you know that they're like this big time person,
Right.
you call them and they're like, yo, what's up? It's like
Right.
you feel like you don't feel like inferior to them and they don't feel inferior to you or outside of the loop,
Well,
It's that friendship.
a guy brought me a record once to reproduce, and when I got the session from Sony, it was Michael Jackson's "One More Chance," and they wanted a remix for it, and they were like, "Well, Simeo, why are you so calm about this?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, Michael, but it doesn't blow me away to work on this session,
Right.
that type of thing. So I guess I've always been. I think I'd be more nervous about my dad than I would. I'd be more than a artist. I've never been one of those people that were in awe of everybody. And hey,
Right.
I think that kept me grounded. I think that's why I still have those relationships today, to where I can call up anybody I've worked with and they pick the phone up for me, and that's a blessing.
Definitely. Well, Simia, I would be honored to work with you, but I would be honored if people knew where to go and get your music.
Well, my personal music, they can find my new single is called Second Best, and they can just pull it up on YouTube. And Second Best is my last single, but I've got a variety of music. Rhonda Clark's new music, her first single, Sick Love, the new one that's out, That's All Right. I've got I produced Johnny Taylor's son, Floyd Taylor, who was an amazing singer. And you can pull up the Floyd Taylor music, or people like Mel Waiters and the folks that used to do the blues and the Southern soul stuff. I've got hit records with them that are all number ones, and I'm working with a fantastic musician right now. His name is Larry McCray, and Larry McCray was a Grammy nominee. Larry and I have actually been friends since our childhood, and he was produced by Joe Bonamassa. He's got Eric Gales on his album. The new stuff we're doing that he's actually recording at my place right now is going to be some really nice music for the end of this year and next year.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
Yep, yep.
I am so happy for you. So happy because you're in the field that you really want to be in, and that you love it. I mean, I can
Right.
tell you're like, yeah.
Well, people always say, "Well, Simeo, why don't you start a label? You know all of these people. You could."
But that's probably not what you want to do, though, right?
No, because I enjoy coming in the studio and just creating music, and then making connections for new projects. Matter of fact, my friend Bo Watson with Midnight Star, him and I talk every other day, and Bo tells me all the time. He says, "Simeo, you need to be in Babyface's camp because you got all of these songs.
But
You
why
got."
not?
Well, actually, Bo was trying to make it happen for me, and Face was going to be in Detroit, but it was during COVID, and we may visit that again. But him and I talk all the time. He's originally from Flint, Michigan, just like I am,
Mhm.
and we're texting or on the phone every other day.
Well, that's a blessing.
Yep,
Definitely a
yep,
blessing. And I do so hope that you get on that camp. I hope that, I mean, as we are still here, our
yep,
dreams are still going. We still have a life to live. Live it to the fullest.
exactly,
Definitely live it to the
exactly.
fullest. And if anybody's supposed to work with you, or if you're supposed to work with anybody and it's supposed to happen, then let it be. Let
Okay,
it be. Like you said, we have to stand to the side and teach these children that are coming up, these young ones that are coming up, the business, and give them their money. Give them their money. Give them
exactly,
their publishing. Give them at least a
exactly.
piece of it. If you're doing publishing and they're doing something, split it.
I have to mention this too because there's a lady that passed earlier this year, unfortunately, and her name was Bunny Ramsden Jackson. And Bunny was Mayor Maynard Jackson's wife, and then she later married Ray Ramsden from Brick. And I was in the club called the Regal Room in Atlanta, and I had my cassette, and I got to tell the story. I handed my cassette to Bunny Ramsden Jackson, and Bunny said, "I'll take this," which I knew who she was because she was very instrumental in SOS Band, and I just heard her name all over Atlanta. I knew she was the mayor's wife, and I gave her my demo, and I guess about 3, 4 months, maybe 6 months went by, and I picked the phone up and she said, "Simeo, this is Bunny Ramsden Jackson." And I'm like, "Bunny, like, hey, you're like Polygram Universal." She said, "Larry Blackmon's gonna call you in 15 minutes." And I was like, "Okay." So Larry Blackman gets on the phone. He's in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Cameo. Uh-huh.
Cameo. We're talking on the phone. He says, "Simeo, can you be at the Hit Factory in New York tomorrow morning?" And I'm like, not even blinking, thinking,
How you gonna
"I'll
get
be
there?
there. I'll
Yeah,
be
right.
there." And that's how it happened for me. And it does happen like that for people sometime. And Bunny Ramsden was the first lady of Atlanta. She helped so many artists out of Atlanta. And that
Wow.
too gave me my big break with Cameo. And I didn't even know I was going to be a part of Cash Flow. I'm at the Hit Factory, and a guy named Forrest Hamilton, who was a manager. Forrest, a lot of people knew Forrest. Forrest started Fat Burgers, the restaurants. And Forrest had been the manager for all of these people. And they took me in a meeting room at the Hit Factory in New York and said, "Would you be the new lead singer for Cash Flow?" And I'm like, I didn't even really know how they started Cash Flow, and that's how I ended up with Cash Flow. It happened just
Wow.
like that. And the rest is history. We're, I'm still surprised that Cameo is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
I am too.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's gotta be something little funky.
yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, you know, uh, 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 one thing, Larry and the guys, they're older than I am because people look at me and they say, well, Cameo, and it's like, well, when the hits were going on back in the '70s, I was just a little kid, So anyway, they need to be inducted in the Rock and
Yeah,
Roll Hall of Fame. I mean,
yeah.
Word Up,
Oh my
Candy,
gosh, I love that song.
Strange,
Yeah.
all the way back to Shake Your Pants and Why Have I Lost You and those hit records. Come on, Rock and
I
Roll
know,
Hall of
right?
Fame.
Come on, y'all. Come on,
Come
y'all.
on,
You know, but I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, if they're not nominated here in the in the Florida Music Hall of Fame, I will contact my buddy and he will make sure that they get nominated, at least down here, so we can be the first. Because literally speaking, it doesn't make sense for them not to be in even nominated. Because I'm nominated and I'm nobody.
You know,
Okay.
you're somebody.
No, but I ain't nowhere near Cameo. Cameo is like Word Up.
Yeah,
Everybody say. I mean,
right.
it was like it was it
And
was a trip. I
yeah,
love it.
I mean, I showed up at the right time because Word Up Candy was going on. We were in LA producing Arsenio Hall with the Chunky A record and all of that. And
Yeah, you did.
yeah, I'm at Cherokee Studios and I'm hanging out with Gene Simmons of Kiss, and I'm in Miami and Ronnie Woods from the Stones. I'm in the car with him riding around talking every day.
Come on now.
It was amazing.
And
It
I'm
was
sure it still
amazing.
is. I mean, you literally kind of grew up with these people and you're still kind of intertwined with a lot of them still. And that's a blessing. That is truly a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, I can, sometimes my phone will ring, it's Lenny Williams or somebody calling me, and I just never burn those bridges. That's
Right.
one thing. And a good thing about it is when I go back to saying I'm helping younger artists now, which I really enjoy. If I hear a really good record, like Clarissa Shields is actually a great rapper. I
Mm.
never knew that. She's got a record she
Go
recorded.
Clarissa.
Clarissa's got a record she recorded, and it is the bomb. So, but even with all her fame, she didn't know who to contact to work the record. So, my nephew had been in a relationship with her for a long time, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, does she know how to get her record out?" And we're trying to make some connections like that. So I knew Ken Wilson, TC Tompkins, Don Cody, those folks, and so even with her, I helped her. At least I don't know what she's done with those contacts since then. And don't you guys call these people, man, because they will. You
No.
call these people and they'll be like, I don't know you.
That you know what? That's my biggest thing. Okay, look, you got to make it in, but you got to make it in with your talent, and then you got to make it in with someone who knows these people. Don't just call these people
Right?
because
Don't
you
just
get
call them.
one
Right.
shot. You get one shot, one.
Well, they
And if
get
you mess
calls
it
all
up,
right. They get calls all the time,
yes, they do. They
and
do. Don't do that. Don't do
no,
that.
don't do that.
No,
No.
don't do that. No, no. But do please follow your dreams and put it out and push it yourself. People, if
Yes,
they like it, they'll call you. They'll find you.
that's so true.
They will find you.
So true.
Yeah, put out good quality stuff and you'll have good quality people calling you. That's it.
Yep.
That's
And
it.
like today, like when I was talking to you earlier, be, excuse me, before we started this, you were talking about you kind of like music that crosses over, in many genres, and that's like where I'm at right now. I don't pigeonhole myself into one style of music. I do hip hop, I do rap music, I do country music, I do gospel. I mean, several varieties of music, that I work on all the time, and a lot of my clients are, you know, they're all over the place as far as music, you know,
Yeah.
and I say to artists out there, new artists, don't pigeonhole yourself into one category of music either. You know, if you're a rapper, um, you know, do like Nas X did and cross over with country and rap or something. You know, don't pigeonhole yourself, because if you end up in one genre of music, that could really make a short career for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. Well, I'm in it for everything. I love music. And so I
That's
love it.
what's number one.
That's it. Music itself. I love
Yeah.
music itself. And so, yeah, thank you so much, Simeo, for being on the show. I appreciate it. Where can people find you to follow you?
Well, they can find me on my, just reach out to me on my Facebook page, which is Simuel overall. That's SIMUELOVERALL. Or there's various links. If you can find Simeo, SIMEO, you can find me somewhere everywhere.
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Simeo, thank you so much for being on. We're going to have all of that information wherever you're watching. It could be on the bottom, to the side, on the top, who knows? But
Okay.
whatever the case may be, it'll be there for you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And until next time, guys, bye.